If you hate Rishi Sunak, clap your hands. If you hate Rishi Sunak, clap your hands. If you hate Rishi Sunak, hey Rishi Sunak, hey Rishi Sunak, clap your hands. If you hate Joe Biden, clap your hands. If you hate Joe Biden, clap your hands. If you hate Joe Biden,
I'm spelling hate.
hey Joe Biden, clap your hands. If you hate Netanyahu, clap your hands. If you hate Netanyahu, clap your hands. If you hate Netanyahu, hey Netanyahu, hey Netanyahu, clap your hands. If you hate Keir Starmer, clap your hands. If you hate Keir Starmer, clap your hands. If you hate Keir Starmer, hey Keir Starmer, hey Keir Starmer, clap your hands.
Thank you guys. God bless you. Keep moving to the right. Can we have one speaker, please? Just one speaker, thank you. Guys, keep moving over to the right. To be honest, I think you're good now. I think you're spaced out. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you for coming. It's a nice turnout to say that it's rained a little bit today as well, so thank you very much. Give yourselves a round of applause, everybody. Big up for Leeds! One time! One time, free Palestine! Free Palestine! Stop the genocide!
Stop the genocide!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Stop the genocide!
Stop the genocide!
For everybody that's in Palestine, he said on target, hospitals, doctors, nurses, therapists, journalists, schools, charity workers, children, disabled, the elderly, the sick, the poor, the homeless, the dispossessed, non-combatants, free Palestine, stop the genocide, from the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free!
from the sea to the river.
Palestine will be forever!
We declare the right of all Palestinian people
Palestinian people!
to be human beings, to be treated as human beings, to be respected as human beings in this society, on this day,
On this day!
on this earth,
And on this earth!
which we all intend to bring into existence by any means necessary. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you very much. We've got some speakers coming up now. By all means. So we've got somebody that's going to be doing an announcement for tomorrow for Wakefield Coast. I don't know if you know, but it's going to be the first ever pro-Palestine march in Wakefield. Big round of applause! Massive effort for West Yorkshire! Next we've got Sister speaking, who's going to be working doing my job tomorrow at Wakefield, and I'm supporting her. Big up Sister Anaya. It's the first time speaking to this side of the class. Please show us some love. And some motivation for tomorrow as well.
It's going to be led by the children, so we're going to have all the
we're going to have face painting on the children are going to have face painting on and other activities. It starts at 12:30 and we're marching at 1, so make sure you get there early so do the face painting and the other activities that we have planned. I hope to see you all there tomorrow.
Everybody, if you can get down the way tomorrow, come down. There is a poster there, and we post it on Instagram tonight. See what you see. And you know what you see, you should do it because we get a big bad day. At the moment, we've got 13 people. Speaking of which, we've got a few to do. But you know what? I'll just sit up there. So, for what I remember, we've got a big meeting on Monday, and it's the annual elections for PSC. So, if anybody is interested in becoming an elected member, please show your support. Come down to the Woodsley Centre in Leeds 6. Do a quick Google, find out the address, and come down at 7 p.m. And please register your vote and support Palestine in any way, shape or form that you can. We'd really appreciate it because I don't know if you know, but the situation in Palestine is not going to disappear very soon. So it's not going to disappear anytime soon. So if you can show your support by fundraising, boycotting, coming out demonstrating, lobbying your MPs, this is exactly what we do at PSC. So please do come down on Monday. Really appreciate it. The bigger we get, more organised we get, the stronger chance we've got of lobbying this, discussing government, and telling them that the answer is you know, there might be lots of possibilities, but we definitely know if and I don't like that word atheist. I don't want the Muslim just we are not people of hate or people of growth. Every single person here is our right family, we love Palestinians, and they can win with love. You can do this then. We're not anti-Semitic, we're not anti-Christian, we're not anti-anything. We're anti-boycott, so we're not anti-boycott, we're pro-boycott. We're pro-boycott! Please join us in the boycott. We do this for a few reasons, you probably can tell. We are anti-apartheid. Hello my friend, we are thank you very much. We are anti-colonization. We are anti-racism. We are anti-murder. We are anti-rape. We are anti-genocide. What are we? Anti-genocide. Say it. What are we? Anti-genocide. What are we? Anti-genocide. What are we? Anti-genocide. Free Palestine. From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. From the sea to the river. Palestine will be forever. From the sea to the river. Palestine will be forever. Palestine taught you pray. We will never let you die. Palestine taught you pray. We will never let you die. West Bank taught you pray. We will never let you die. West Bank taught you pray. We will never let you die. Free, free Palestine. Free Palestine. Stop the genocide. Stop the genocide. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Stop the genocide. Stop the genocide. Everybody give yourself a big round of applause. Let's move on to the speakers. First speaker I've got is Sophie. I'm one of Sophie this week. I've read what she's going to say. It's very powerful. Sophie, not come on. Everybody go and applause Sophie! Now, I'm all about I'm all about people with substance and to say that I won't say too much about what Santa's going to read up to, but please listen to the words. Bear in mind, absorb it, give it away, give it up to someone.
First of all, thank you all for coming today. It's amazing to see so many people here, week after week. A little bit about me. My name is Sophie. I'm a master's student at the University of Leeds. And I wanted to speak here today to honour my heritage and use my voice and share my family story. I consider myself so lucky to come from a mixed, diverse background. My mum is half Iraqi and English, and my dad is half Palestinian and English. I also lived as an expat in the Middle East. Today I will share a few story about my dad's family. My dad comes from an English family in Palestine. My mother is Muslim. My grandmother my grandma, she met him and they've been married ever since. I am proud of my heritage on my dad's side and my mum's Iraqi and English side. So firstly, I want to share a story of one of my dad's cousins. He owned a pasta factory in Gaza. This factory required electricity and water to run efficiently. The Israelis time and time again sabotaged production and they cut water and electricity. Why? Because they could. My dad's cousin wanted to run an honest business, to make an honest living whilst feeding the people of Gaza. Yet the authorities would cut the water and power over and over again in a cycle. Despite the factory being targeted and bombed, my dad's cousin refused to leave. He did not want to let the people down. If he stopped the pasta factory, that's another food supply cut. This is the resilience of the Palestinian people. Sadly, eventually he had to leave as the situation became intolerable and the factory could not run. That was another food supply cut. That was in the early 2000s and it's still happening now. Forced starvation is never okay and it will never be okay. I have another story where the occupation has attempted to destroy a food source. My second story is of my dad's auntie. She owned orchards full of apricots, lemons and oranges. In the 90s, the Israeli army came and chopped down the orchards. My auntie begged them not to because the orchards were a valuable food source for the community and had been in her family for generations. It was their livelihood, their identity, their food supply for the people. But the Israelis said no and proceeded to chop the orchards down. They also churned the roots so the trees would never grow back again, despite my aunt's pleas. It cut yet another food supply. And lastly, I want to share the story of my grandmother, my teta, and her family. She was born in Jerusalem a few years before the Nakba, the first Nakba. Her dad owned successful businesses and properties in Palestine. They lived a happy and prosperous life, living in harmony with all religions. But one day in 1948, when she was just a child, she and her family were forced out of the house at gunpoint during what is known now as the First Nakba. The IDF soldiers would bang on the door, pointing their rifles at whoever opened it, even if it was a child. My teta and her family scrambled for their belongings and left so much behind. She was just a child. It took them 5 days to walk to Lebanon, to safety, something she has never forgotten. Obviously, they didn't have social media back then, but when I see these children on social media now, with their small backpacks, all their precious belongings inside, walking for hours, I think of my teta. That was her in 1948, walking along the roads, scared of being shot. She was one of the 700,000 plus displaced Palestinians in 1948. What child in this world is going to choose the belongings?
Literally, King's Spain is all around.
this day, my teta, she's still not allowed to return to her home country, the one that she was born in. A few years back, the family cemetery in Jerusalem was vandalized. Headstones were smashed. This is to erase our heritage, our culture and our national identity. They are doing the same now in Gaza, destroying ministry buildings, public records, universities, hospitals, schools, churches, mosques, cultural sites, journalists, academics, and the list goes on and on. All should not be a target. They want to erase us Palestinians, but we will never be erased. Us being here week after week will prove that the Palestinian identity and culture will never be forgotten. Everyone is a hero in Palestine in my eyes because of their sheer resilience against bombs, blasts, snipers, all the weapons that the US provides. They say they are sorry for the loss of life, yet provide billions in weapon packages to continue
Take you back.
They are not sorry. I would like to mention a few heroes who have provided us with eyes on the ground in Gaza. We have Motaz Aziza. He has done wonders. He is only 25 years old, yet has seen a lifetime of atrocities. Wael al-Dahdour. He is a father, a husband, a grandfather and an uncle. He has lost his wife, his daughter, his grandchildren, mother, eldest son and countless other relatives during the genocide. It is amazing how he is still standing after so much loss. How many times can a heart break? Next is Dr. Hassan Abu Sitta. He is an alumnus of my high school and he has saved countless lives in Gaza and is working to provide evidence to the Scotland Yard War Crimes Unit. Next we have Bisan. Bisan is still in Gaza as of now. She is one of the last journalists left, providing us with real images and updates. She is currently displaced in Rafah, fearing for her life daily despite it being called the safe zone. And lastly is Lama. Lama is a 9-year-old girl who was taken to Instagram to document the slaughter of her people. It breaks my heart that a 9-year-old has to resort to social media to beg for the world's attention. We are living in a dystopian world. And lastly, Khalid Nabhan, or better known as Reem's grandfather. He lost Reem, his ruh al-ruh, or the soul of his soul. He is a prime illustration of the resilience of the Palestinian people. He was seen comforting and cleaning the wounds of other children days after losing his granddaughter, Reem. He keeps her earring on his pocket to remember her and carries on with a smile on his face. This is the resilience of the Palestinian people. We will not be lost to genocide, and we will never forget. Lastly, I want to talk about the over 1.5 million people that have been displaced and forced into Rafah. Rafah was meant to be a safe place, the place that they said it was safe to evacuate to. Nowhere is safe and the Palestinian people have nowhere to go. They are trapped like human animals as they have been described by Israeli defense ministers. They try and dehumanize us Palestinians. They call women, men, children and families human animals. Children in Gaza are still children. We see little boys lifted out of the rubble in AC Milan jerseys, Liverpool jerseys, Barcelona jerseys, and we see little girls being lifted out of the rubble in, sadly, little princess pajamas. These children are not human animals as the Israelis describe them. They are children that love to play. They love their toys and their families. They have hopes and dreams, just like us. We see children who have lost everything, holding their beloved cats, even trying to feed them despite not having food themselves. These innocent children have hearts of gold, yet are met with bombs and snipers. These are little children with passions and dreams, just like you and me. But the Israelis, again, they see them as human animals, and the West provide the weapons to kill them. These children and babies, they want a future and an education. They want to grow up and they want to fulfill their dreams. But in Gaza, some children will never grow up. As of today, in the past 133 days, over 12,000 children will never get to grow up. I dream of a free Palestine where all religions live peacefully amongst each other, like they did when my Teta was there once before the original Nakba. It was a reality then, and it can be a reality today. I pray for peace so children can wake up to the sounds of birds, not the sounds of drones and bombs. To start this, we need a ceasefire now.
Ceasefire! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
I could speak forever, sharing stories of my family and speaking to be the voice of the voiceless. I could literally speak forever. But now I will finish with a poem by the late academic Rafat al-Harir, a Palestinian poet and writer deliberately targeted and murdered by Israel on the 7th of December 2023. If I Must Die by Rafat al-Harir. If I must die, you must live. To tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings, make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza, whilst looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in flames, with no one farewell, not even see the night, by puncturing, by my dad, and things from my own suspicion.
One time for Sophie! There's nothing more powerful than getting the testimony of people that have lived experience of particularly Palestine. I think it's more powerful than that. Next we've got Dr. Rahana Henderson. Now Dr. Rahana Henderson, she is the lead on the healthcare for Palestine refugees born in former Leeds, we take on the Happy Bradford, and so consistent. I think the last one was yesterday. We'd encourage, especially healthcare workers, to come out and take part in these vigils, because even though we don't get much of a turnout as what we've got here, symbolically it's still important to come out and show solidarity with Palestine. So I personally try to make an effort to come down, and there's only a handful of us. Still, it's a sincere effort. It recognises and it remembers the people, a lot of people on this banner to my left here, healthcare workers that tragically died through no fault of their own, who try to save people, but the integrity and the strength to say we will stay exactly where we are, we support our patients, we will not leave, come what may. So please support the vigils as much as you can. Everybody give a round of applause for Dr. Rahana Henderson.
Thank you, Rashid, that's very kind. Just a few words on the back of Sophie's beautiful speech. And I think it's very important that we start listening to Palestinians. For over 80 years, their voices have been silenced, they've been boycotted, but media and the people in power have silenced them, dehumanized them, make them refugees in their own land. And hence, we are standing here with very little knowledge of their beautiful culture, their amazing resilience, and what lovely human and beautiful human beings they are. So let's listen more to Palestinians and what they want and what they need and support them with it. So, my name is Dr. Rahana. I'm a pediatrician in West Yorkshire. And as Rashid said, we've organized ourselves into healthcare workers from Palestine. We which is an apolitical, non-partisan group standing in solidarity with the healthcare workers of Gaza. We are part of a global movement, so almost every Friday there is around 17 cities in the UK and around 20 cities globally take part of a candlelight peaceful vigil remembering our killed healthcare workers as well as the kidnapped ones while the ground invasion started. So it's been 134 days now, and we are still in it, and we are still coming out and demanding a ceasefire. And that's what we demand as Health Workers for Palestine. We demand an immediate and a permanent ceasefire soon. And we demand the barricade of the humanitarian aid to be lifted as soon as possible. And we demand the freedom of our healthcare workers who have been arrested, and also the exchange of the Israeli hostages as well, safely back to their families. Up to date, around over 400 healthcare workers have been targeted and killed. They not died, it wasn't an accident. They were specifically targeted and killed by the Israeli, by a sniper attack by the drone.
You're going to be there.
At work in their homes in the refugee camps. Over 180 healthcare workers have been arrested while they were delivering the care to their patients in the hospitals. Today I heard us chanting, "Stop bombing hospitals." Hospitals not a target. Sadly, out of 36 hospitals in Gaza, they've all been a target. There have been a demolition of over 80% of hospitals. There's no hospitals left. The last two hospitals we had left was in Rafah, Al-Nasr and Al-Khair. Al-Nasr would be shown in the screen. I don't know if you're following the media. Evacuation after evacuation from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we could not sleep. We could not even breathe to witness these horrific images. Patients, doctors, nurses, paramedics, people who've taken refugees in the hospital, over thousands of people had to evacuate, as well as being called names and being targeted by snipers and by drones. So there's no hospitals left, unfortunately. The healthcare system is completely demolished now. There are a few pockets of medics who are still delivering some care. I'm not sure with what equipment, what medicine. There's not even clean water or food for the patients, for normal people to eat, never mind for the patient. We see images of patients having their limbs amputated, wandering around. God knows where they are, with plates, bandages, stitches. Who's gonna look after them? And of course, they're gonna get infected, and they're gonna die a slow death of the complications of the surgery or the injuries the burden. It's been quite a grim week. I think it's been so crushing. Every morning waking up thinking, surely it can't get worse than this. But it did. And it is getting worse than we ever imagined. Never in my dreams I imagined that we'll be still here after 4 months demanding a ceasefire. And what is so crushing and scrunchingly depressing is that our world leaders, our political leaders, are not listening to us. But we are not giving up on Gazans. We are not giving up on their beautiful children. We are not giving up on Hind, on Reem, on Sidra, and thousands of beautiful children of Gaza. We are not giving up on our colleagues who are true heroes, standing with empty-handed, providing amazing care as much as they can. With no medicine, no supplies, not even a hospital to work with. We're not giving up on them. We're going to stand up every Friday, every Saturday, and every other time, coming out with vigils, workday action, box out, marches, and we're going to stand as pressure pods, standing in front of our politicians and leaders demanding the ceasefire. Ceasefire now! 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 So I want to thank all of you who've come out. community about the atrocities that is happening, about all those crimes against humanity, about the Geneva Convention that has been broken. None of these have ever happened. The scale of the crime that is happening now is not happening in any war in the current history. No conflict. I've seen this many hospitals, health workers, doctors, nurses, paramedics targeted. Now this many children being killed. This has to stop. We are not going to accept this as a norm for moving forward for any other wars. We're not going to stand in silence. We're going to come out. We are emotionally exhausted, emotionally drained. Lots of us are burned out. But we have to overcome our egos. We are standing in front of 80 years of silencing Palestinians, silencing their rights, boycotting them. We got a long journey ahead of us. So please, please don't give up on Palestine. It's been a horrific week, and we watch horrible things on the media. We're not going to give up on them. A new call for ceasefire is going to go to the Parliament on Wednesday the 21st. We're going to support it. We're going to write to our MPs. We're going to advise everyone to write to their MPs demanding a ceasefire. We're going to build up the political pressure. And it does work. Just before starting the march, one of my colleagues was telling me that the University of California has de-invested 20 million contracts in Israel due to the demand of pupils and academics. It does work. Let's not forget what we are going through, coming out of March, giving up on our family time, giving up on our hobbies, and standing up, being activists, compared to what people of Gaza are going through. So please don't give up on them. And we are going to beat it. I want you all to put your hand on your heart and repeat after me. I believe that we can win. 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 Thank you very much.
Everybody, one more time for Dr. Rahana Henderson. I think it's always important to acknowledge what's happened to the healthcare workers, journalists, academics, artists. People have got nothing to do with this whatsoever. What happened on October the 7th. Innocent people, innocent lives. Please support the healthcare workers of Palestine and attend those vigils when you can. Our next speaker, somebody who I've got to know quite well, Isma. I've asked her specifically to speak today about a project she's got going on. It's in relation to some artwork, in relation to Palestine, and I think it's going to be a really good event in March. She's a little bit nervous, so please support and encourage her, applaud her, and I'm sure she's going to be really good.
I don't do public speaking, so this is my first event. I just wanted to say a few things. The seasons are changing, and we're still here. 134 days of genocide, and we are still here. These clouds are getting smaller, yet we are still here. You know, our voices are getting quieter and we're being silenced, but we are still fucking here. I just want to say, you know, I'm angry. I'm angry. And I spent the last 3 months, like you guys, crying, being angry, being upset. And the time is now to take action. We really cannot give up. and we cannot give in. I created an art exhibition called Palestine Unveiled. And this came from the fact that I was sitting in my room night after night, pissed off, angry, and wanting to do something and take some action. So I put all my energy and all my effort into creating Palestine Unveiled. Palestine Unveiled is a movement, and it's not about me. It's about all of you guys and all of those Palestinians who at the moment are suffering and they need us. They need their voices to be heard. My exhibition is on the 31st of March at Left Bank in Leeds. And it's going to get bigger. We're going to go to every city, every gallery, every institution, and keep talking until we can talk no more. I just want to end with one quote that really resonates with me, because all of this has to lead with love. In Martin Luther King's words, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Thank you. Viva Palestina! Free Palestine!
Everybody, one more time, Facebook! Please support this prayer.
Ayaz Firwa, 17 days old. Miss Al-Susi, 7 years old. Sari Abdul-Hakim, 4 months old, the rest of the family with them. Sana Al-Fuda, 7 years old. Adam Hussam Salim, 8 years old. Ahmed Abdul Rauf Qadan, 1 month old. Rina Al-Prince, 6 years old. These are a portion of the children that have died in Gaza. More than 10,000 children. Recently, my entire family have gone to Palestine and I went to go see them. I helped for a bit with my nephew. He's only 1 year old. For the entire time I spent time with him, all I can think of is how many children like him have died, have perished. And now as we see, Rafah is being bombed. First we had seen Reem, then we had saw Hind and found out she had died in the car she had begged for help from. And then we saw the picture of Sidra, her legs gone hanging from a wall in Rafah. All eyes on Rafah right now. I despise it when people try to argue and say this is no genocide. But the amount of children that have died, how many do you think begged for their lives as well? How many do you think were just like him, screaming just to be saved? The 3 videos I played in the microphone just now. The first one was of 3 brothers crying as they saw the body of their father, their mother who had died long before that. The last members of their family are just those 3. The second was a woman, a doctor who worked in the hospital, as she saw someone coming to a stretcher that was her own daughter. And the final one was of a man who trembled and cried as he realized by tracking his friend's phone, he was standing on the rubble where he was buried underneath. These are just small examples I can give of the near 30,000 that have died. People who had nothing to do with anything except living their lives. They weren't just journalists. They were bakers, farmers, workers, many of them educational staff, many of them nurses, doctors. And as the doctor said right there, the entire healthcare system is gone. The educational system is gone. They have nowhere else to go. Before rock was born, leaflets fell from the sky, and the nation was reading. Because they knew what was going to happen. Mass safe zone, they called it. Where was the safety for Hind? Where was the safety for Sidra? Where was the safety for Reem? Where was the safety for any of the children who have been slaughtered mercilessly? Where are the children who have seen bombs fall from the sky, who cry when they hear planes? When we hear planes, well, it's normal. When they hear it, they tremble in fear, they cry. They think that they are next on the list of people who are going to die. And now we see that people still don't even want to stand for Palestine. I remember in the first few months we were out here in the tens of thousands, and we dwindled in numbers. Yet we still stand here today. Don't you dare lose hope in any sort of way. Because even as months have gone by, we're still standing here, fighting for the Palestinian people. I don't care if we get heckled. We shouldn't care. We shouldn't care if we're being stopped in the streets. We've come out here every week marching for the Palestinian people. Regardless of what our institutions say. Regardless of what our institutions say. For the Palestinian people. Every single week, no matter what. We are not stopped any sort of way. Do not forget the names of these children. Keep them in your mind. Say their names in your mouth. Remember them in your hearts. We have not stopped for 4 months. We have not stopped for another 4. We keep continuing after that. And the ceasefire will not be enough to stop us. We are long past where ceasefire will stop us. We've seen that they're capable of continuing their genocide. We've seen that they will disregard any sort of message to stop them in their tracks. It will take us to stop them. Despite our numbers dropping, build them back up. Despite our hearts dropping, keep them steadfast. Look at the Palestinians as a source of inspiration. We inspire them, they inspire us. We will need to continue going. Mark every word I say. Keep it, listen to it, hold it in your heart. We are not going to lose. Palestine will be free, and we will see that Palestine will be free. Immediately, and no matter what, it will happen. Any single person who wants to say to us that it will never work, it will never happen, put your money where your mouth is. Stop speaking, because our voice will drown out yours, as they have done for 4 months, as the Palestinians have done for 75 years, and we will make that progress, and we will make sure that a Palestinian state, a one Palestinian state that has always been the heart of the people, will continue to exist, and it will exist. Thank you.
Free, free! Palestine! From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
Gaza, don't you cry!
We will never let you cry!
Palestine, don't you cry!
We will never let you cry!
You know, early this week, when the situation was happening in Rafah, about more than a week, to be honest with you, I saw something that stayed in my mind. It's probably going to live with me till the day I die. It was a picture of a girl with a limb cut off, hanging off a wall. I'm quite certain a lot of you have probably seen that same image. And I thought to myself, name no single country in this world where that can fly without any interjection from another foreign country. It can't. It's been happening for too long in Palestine. It's so unjust, it's so unreal what's going on. But at the same time, I'm a person of hope, and I strongly believe Jawad's words, where he is. Jawad spoke very eloquently very passionately, he comes every single week, and he sincerely believes that Palestine won't be free. So do I. Do you believe that Palestine will be free? Louder! Louder! Free! Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Stop the genocide!
Stop the genocide!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
1, 2, 3, 4!
Occupation no more!
5, 6, 7, 8!
Israel is a terrorist state!
Said 1, 2, 3, 4!
Occupation no more!
5, 6, 7, 8!
Israel is a terrorist state!
Thank you, God bless you. Now, like I said earlier, I'm a person who likes to find voices in deep areas where nobody's seen people before, if that makes any sense. A lot of the speakers that come every single week, people like Sophie and other people that are probably not as well heard of as some politicians, activists, they've got really rich stories to tell, and I welcome that. And I've read Fahim's words. I made a promise to her a few weeks ago and let her speak. I totally forgot because I'm just so busy with things. I do apologise sincerely, but she's got a really good testament to provide. So everybody, round of applause for Fahim, please.
My name is Fahima, and I'm just going to talk about the propaganda Israel throws at us. The propaganda that they use, the Zionists that they use it to systematically demonize the Palestinians, not just in Gaza or the West Bank, but all over the world. I'm sure we've seen the Twitter account of the Israeli government, which is used to push their disgusting agendas and is filled to the brim with propaganda. We also the attack on Al-Shifa Hospital and how they proudly proclaimed it was them, only to retract that tweet when the footage of the hospital came out. When the footage came out, they said that it was they claimed it was a failed missile, and they said it was us, but we didn't mean for it to happen. But then they also took that back and they said that Hamas bombed Al-Shifa Hospital. And yeah, exactly! It's all lies! It's all lies! Then they told the people in Gaza to evacuate to the south so that they can bomb the north where Hamas was supposedly based. Now they're bombing the south. Where is Hamas? We all know it's quite clear that they're not going to find Hamas. Not in the south, not in the north. They're just doing it to push the Palestinians out of their land. How can we trust any word that the Israeli government says when they constantly give out misinformation and are constantly proven wrong? We all heard about the tunnels and the list, all of which were lies. Honestly, I'm shocked at the courage the IDF have to call the days of the week on a calendar the names of Hamas soldiers as if there aren't 456 million Arabic speakers worldwide. However, the propaganda is obviously working, as last year in America, 3 students were shot wearing the prayer and another young Palestinian boy was murdered in cold blood by his landlord just because he was Palestinian. Germany and France have banned the protests